I'm going to go over with you one of the fastest clearing, easiest, smoothest brain builds in the game to play, and that is the Lazy Mage PvE build guide. Let's get right into it, okay? Now, this mage guide is not your typical Comet Azure build because bosses like to dodge Comet Azure. It takes a lot of buffs, a lot of build-up, and a lot of specialty items just to nuke the boss down, and again, bosses are very mobile. I like to play lazier. I don't want to have to wait for the boss to have an opening. I don't want to have to wait for the boss to do anything. I just want to walk into the boss room, mash R1, and win the game. And this build will let you do exactly that on a budget, and it only gets stronger and stronger and stronger as you level up and get better gear. So, with that said, I'm going to show you, for those of you that like to PvP, I don't recommend this as a PvP build because you can just, spam roll through the spells. But for those that absolutely do not go beyond level 120, I'm going to share with you my stats on what I recommend at level 120, but because it's a PvE build, it is mostly meant for speedrunning and just blasting through New Game Pluses to get to like New Game Plus 9, which is what I use personally to get there. I'm going to continue to show you how you should allocate your stats past 120. But first, for the Puritans out there, let's get this out of the way. Alright, so you want 60 Vigor because that's the last soft cap before the points aren't worth nearly as much. You want at least 21 Minds so that you can spam nearly most of your mana bar in accordance with your Endurance bar. So Endurance is currently 10 because we are kind of a squishy glass cannon right now, but because of our buffs and our items that I'm going to show you in a bit, we're still pretty damn tanky for level 120, alright? I don't recommend being level 120 for like New Game Plus 7 or above because that makes things really hard. 24 strength to use our melee weapon, that is if we run out of mana and mana potions, but also to cast a buff on ourselves. 14 dexterity for our gear, 27 intelligence for our spells, and 33 faith because it also scales our spell damage a bit due to A scaling. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. And for one of our buffs, you don't need arcane right now, there's really no point. So let's go over the gear at level 120 because this does change. I'm going to tell you why I use the gear I use. Alright, so first off is the Commander Standard plus 9, okay. I also have a Golden Order. You don't have to upgrade this to plus 9, I just did because I had the parts. And the Prince of Death Staff, I have it up to plus 21, I believe that's reasonable for, level 120. And of course the Jellyfish Shield, you don't have to upgrade this either, but again, I just had the spare parts. So, let me talk about the Commander Standard first, and why you want to use this, okay? For one, this is your melee weapon if you don't want to cast a spell on like a trash mob. Now, when you buff up, you're going to deal tons of damage with this, but also, this is your buff weapon, okay? Before a boss fight, you cast, well not that, that's your shield buff, you're going to cast Rallying Standard, and what this does is it dramatically increases your power, but also it increases your defenses, which, let me show you real quick. Right now, just in cloth gear, my defenses, I have 56% physical damage negation and 58% magic damage negation. That is amazing for just wearing crappy cloth gear, and a lot of that's coming from the Commander Standard. But this thing, it boosts your damage by an incredible amount. I highly recommend it. However, you cannot stack Golden Vow with this. That's why we don't have Golden Vow in this build, because Commander Standard. It does last only 30 seconds though, but that's more than enough time because you're a wizard. You can blow up the boss long before this runs out, okay? So the Golden Order Seal, that's just the best scaling one. I do have a video on my channel about that, but that's just to cast Howl of Shabiri, which is the highest damage buff in the game, though it is very short-lived. It has kind of a long cast time. It's pretty cool looking, but this also does do a taunt, unfortunately, so it does make it a little bit harder to use your summons because you're currently in taunt mode when this is active, but it increases your damage so darn much that it's worth using. It's also a very short duration. Most of the time, I don't bother using this. I don't need to, but for a really tough, meaty boss, or if you just want that juicy high damage, I use this because it just makes the game that much more fun, but you don't have to, okay? And then finally for the weapon, Prince of Death Staff, when this is maxed out and you have incredibly high intelligence and faith, this weapon does more magic damage than anything else in the game. Alright, and that's why we're using it, okay? Yeah, there's might be a better option at low levels, but I don't really care to waste my upgrade materials on that. So that's why I'm using Prince of Death Staff. This is how we cast Shard Spiral. For those that don't know, this is what it looks like. Here's Shard Spiral. what it does is it will drill into the boss, and it may not look like I'm doing that much damage to it right now, which obviously unbuffed, it's not the best right now, okay? Also not super high level, and this monster in particular has 20% magic resistance, which makes it kind of a stupid target dummy to show off, but I'm going to talk more about the buffs in a sec. Finally, the Jellyfish Shield. This is 100% physical negation. Its guard boost kind of sucks, but this is a damage steroid for your whatever you use in your right hand. So all you do is you do this, and that will dramatically increase our damage, and it stacks with everything else. All right. Now, as far as this is again level 120 stuff. I'm just using the cheapest, lightest weight armor that I can spare, while keeping my equip load a medium load. There's nothing special about these pieces, other than I'm just using it for physical damage negation, okay? Now, for talismans, again, this is at level 120. The Ritual Sword Talisman, 20% increased damage whenever you're full HP. You almost always want to be full HP. This is a huge damage boost. Magic Scorpion Charm, I think it's a 12%, or... yeah, I think this is a 12% damage boost. I forget the exact percentage, but it's pretty damn good, and I'm going to tell you why I'm using this over other charms real quick, or talismans rather, okay? Now this does lower your physical damage negation, so like if I put this on, I would gain 5% physical negation. I would gain, yeah, it's just physical. But let me tell you why I'm not using Radagon's icon, which shortens your spellcasting time. This is effectively like having 30 dexterity for spellcasting speeds. Alright, in the span of 30 seconds, with Radagon's equipped, I can cast 16 spells. Without it equipped, I can cast 15 spells in 30 seconds, okay? So you get one extra spell cast for every 15 casts. That's not a lot. That's not worth putting on. That's a 1/15th damage increase. And this is way more than 1/15th, okay? So that's why I'm using the Magic Scorpion Charm, because we are dealing magic damage. And I'm not using charged spells, so we have no reason to use the Godfrey icon. And the Graven Mass Talisman, which greatly raises potency of sorceries. I can't talk, guys. It's like an 8% damage increase without the damage. Like, you have the damage negation, but I want more damage, okay? Now, for damage negation, we have the Ritual Shield Talisman. This thing is an absolute beauty. This lets you take your first hit, and most of the time you're going to heal back to full after you get hit anyway. Without it on, you do drop down to about 21% physical and 25 magic, so it's a pretty huge. And then finally, the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman. This is like wearing a full set of armor. Alright, so right now we're at 45 physical negation. If I take it off, it's at 31. I know 14% doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a huge amount. Highly recommend it. And then finally, for your ashes, your spirit ashes, the Great Shield Soldier Ashes. This summons 5 skeletons, all with great shields. They make amazing, great, awesome tanks. However, you know, word of warning is that if you cast Hal of Shibiri, you're the tank, because you will have a Shibiri's Woe effect. If you look at my buff icons in the top left, you see that that little mask icon? Also, this does lower your physical negation. See how it dropped down to 28? That's why I'm stacking physical negation. This thing is a 35% damage increase. That's why I'm using it, because it makes the game more fun, and most of the time, you can just blow up these bosses before they ever get a chance to do any attacks at all. So, that's why I'm using it, but you don't have to use it if you don't want to. If you want to play more defensively, don't cast Hal of Shibiri at all, and just use Great Shield Soldier Ashes instead. Alright, that's why we're using that. So now, with that said, I'm going to show you the damage that we can do on this boss at 120. Also, let me go over the Flask of Physic real quick, just because. So I'm using the Magic Shrouding Crack tier, that's a 20% increased damage in magic, and the Cerulean Hidden tier, which allows you for 30 seconds to just free cast without using focus points, or mana. I like to call it mana. I know that's not the proper name, but whatever. You get the point, right? So here's how this build works. Okay, I'm going to show you buff damage now, alright? So we're going to pop out our Rallying Standard, and we're just going to stand behind Boss Man here. We're also going to summon Great Shield Soldier Ashes. Because it's an outdoor boss, we can fight it on our terms, you know, Ainz Algon style. You don't have to sit here and, you know, fight him actively. Alright, cool. So we're going to now cast Rallying Standard. Very cool stuff. Alright, then we're going to switch over and cast Hal of Shibiri. Also, Terra Magica is a spell that we also use. We're going to go ahead and cast that now. Now I'm going to put on the shield. I'm going to chug my flask. I'm going to activate the shield buff, and here we go. We're just going to start spamming spells, and this is at level 120, very low scaling, and that thing is nearly completely dead. Okay, I had to stop casting it because I want to continue to use it as a target dummy. Alright, but if I kept casting, it would have absolutely died, right? Look at that. It's pretty darn good, okay? Even if you're semi-buffed, okay, it's like if you want to be lazy with it and you don't want to cast all those buffs, I'm going to show you just the 3 that I would normally use, okay? So I hit the rallying standard, booyah, alright, there we go. And then I just whip out the shield, cast the shield buff, drink the flask. That's more than enough to deal a similar amount of damage, okay? So even with just those buffs and not even Terra Magic or anything else, look how much damage we've already done to the boss. It's about, you know, maybe half as much, but this still allows me to pretty much, you know, fight the boss pretty darned easy, okay? But not only that, even if you don't want to cast spells, or say you run out of mana, or you just can't, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe you want a challenge, okay, even with just your melee weapon, you still deal a heckin' ton of damage, okay? So we're gonna hit the rallying standard, we're gonna pop out the shield, there we go, and just doing like a jump attack with just these 2 buffs, 800 damage. You still hit pretty freaking hard as a melee user. You're not completely defenseless like some mage builds out there. You still have plenty of options, okay? So now, let's cover leveling up more. And for those that don't know, level 120 is really quick to get to. Also, just as a side note, for the Great Rune, I like to use the one that gives you the most HP, and that one is called Morgoth's Great Rune. Greatly raises maximum HP. I think that makes the game more smooth and simple. You could use the Millennias if you want. I don't see a point for Mogs. Radan's is just a worse version of Morgoth's. Rykard's, again, you're not really going to be defeating enemies. You just run to the boss and kill them. And Godric's Great Rune, it's okay, but later on when you get high leveled, it loses a lot of its value. So that's my recommendation on Great Runes. Let's talk about scaling up our levels now. Alright, so the next leveling milestone I like to be at is level 137, and let me tell you why. Also, I changed my equipment, and let me tell you why, and I changed my talisman. So at level 137, all we did from 120 to 137 is pump endurance. So let me show you what the stats look like now. 60 vigor, same as last time. 21 mind, same as last time. Endurance went from 10 to 27. So that is 17 levels into endurance. Nothing else changed. And here is why we put 27 into endurance. This lets us wear what's called the Royal Remains set. When you are below 18% maximum HP, this set will start to restore 2 HP per second per piece. So in total, 8 HP per second. We've also changed out our damage magic charm and replace it with the blue feathered branch sword. Now what this does is your defense dramatically increases when you are below 20% HP. Alright, and basically right now we have, you know, 57 physical negation, okay? If I cast, of course, rallying standard, that's going to bring it, this is at full HP, 65. If I eat a boiled crab, that raises it even more to 72, alright? Now, if you are in a boss fight and the boss knocks you below 20% HP, guess what? This little sucker kicks in, and this thing is so huge for defense, okay? Let me show you what my stats look like when we get our HP below 20% and how fast we heal and how tanky we truly become. This makes you basically unkillable. Alright, so I am at 18% life currently, and my HP is 432. My defenses without buffs, 69% physical negation, 59% magic negation, and that's unbuffed, okay? So if I decide to buff, we're going to go ahead and throw on the standard here, and that pushes it to 75, alright, and then if we eat the crab, that's going to push it even further to 80% damage negation. Now, that is a lot of damage negation. That is an insane amount, okay? And so I'm going to show you just how piddly this gargoyle hits. Alright, so let's hit the golden standard once again, and we're going to take a big hit here. Well, maybe. Okay, let's let him smack us around. And again, this guy hits hard, but look at this. Boom. and watch. If I want, I can just sit here and block and play defensively, because I now have more endurance, so I can use my shield for blocking reasons. And look at my HP. My HP is just steadily rising back up, okay? What this does, look at that. That didn't kill me. That would have killed anyone else, okay? That attack does an insane amount of damage. But hey, I'm still restoring. You know, I can still play defensive. I can still roll around if I want. And again, it makes you just an absolute beast. And check out the HP regeneration here: 243, 251, 259, 267, and so on. That's why I recommend that those next 17 levels allow you to wear the Royal Remains. It's a really nice defensive armor piece. They're pretty good. They're not the best defensive, but it synergizes with the Blue Feathered Branch Sword so well. It makes New Game Plus super easy because bosses do hit pretty heckin' hard in New Game Plus. So with that said, let's continue leveling. From there, you'll level up to 170, pumping purely into intelligence. This hits your sorcery soft cap at 60. Then continue to level 197, leveling faith to 60, because your weapon does scale damage off of faith even though you're casting sorcery magic. From here, leveling up gets pretty darn difficult unless you do some really wonky, weird rune farms where you like jump off the side of a cliff and basically absorb all the living creatures that despawn through rendering or however the game's code works. But essentially, at these stats right here, with 60 int faith and of course max upgraded weapons, you will deal a significant high amount of damage anyway. Even unbuffed, we are doing about 2/3 more damage than at level 120. This is unbuffed here, okay? And yeah, you just shred bosses, and if you buff up, you deal so much crazy damage that if I were to show you on the gargoyle here, he would just melt. So I'm gonna buff up and show you the damage real quick. Just the basic buffs. I'm not even gonna do the full buffs. Okay, we're just gonna hit the not the shield. I always do that. The rallying standard. Okay, there we go. There's rallying standard. There's the shield. We're gonna chug our flask of physic, and with that. Let's just cast a few of these. 1, 2, and 3. One more. Like, the damage is insane, right? And he even dodged backwards, so he didn't even get the full brunt of that spell. And yeah, you just absolutely wreck bosses. But let's continue leveling, and you guessed it, you're going to go from 60 intelligence to 80 intelligence, and that is the final hard cap. And then after that, of course, you're going to go 60 faith to 80 faith, and that's going to increase your damage even more. And then from here, it gets a little weird, okay? If you put 70 into dexterity, you gain some extra spell casts, and it feels nice. It feels really nice to do this, okay? But I personally like to go vigor, okay? And here's why, okay? 60 is the hard cap, going to 99, look at my HP, 1900. Okay, so that would bring it to 2100, right? So that's only 200 HP, right? No, I don't want to level up. Okay, but right now, if you look at my stats, let me stand up, because I have the Great Rune active, my HP is 2375, okay? So that would get another 25% increase, so that gives me another, instead of 200 HP, it's basically 250. So that would bring my total HP to 2,500 something, which you may not seem like a lot. But again, remember, that also raises my percent total maximum HP, which makes this Royal Remains set even more valuable. It makes this Blue Feathered Branch Sword even more valuable. But if you don't want to waste the points, okay, here's what you should also do. You can take Endurance to 60, alright? This lets you use your shield more, okay? But also, this raises your max equip load to 120, which will allow you to start wearing Bull Goat armor, which will give you poise, which means when the bosses that aren't, well, this gargoyle or like the very in-game bosses that do lighter attacks, okay, or enemies that do lighter attacks, you will be able to cast spells while you tank hits, and your physical damage percent negation will go up a very decent amount. So that's another option for you if you want to increase it. Now, other than that, dexterity, like I said, when you pump it to 70, it does feel nice, okay? Go ahead and pump that to 70. There we go. And, of course, might as well get Vigor to 99. Now, the reason I haven't put points into Mind is because our flask gives us all the infinite mana we need to kill everything in the game on New Game Plus 9. If you just want to, like, kill regular monsters or you don't want to rely on the flask, then you can pump Mind. It's totally fine. Again, this is just, I would rather have more damage, though, personally, you know, for me. So I would, of course, pump, you know, this to 99, because you might as well get it to 99, right? And again, going from 70 dexterity to 99, it doesn't do anything. It's a complete waste of points. Like, you're better putting it into endurance first. So here at level 403, you can see that it takes something along the lines of 1.8 million runes per level. Again, you're going to be farming like crazy to get that high of a level, right? But at this stage of the game, you're just killing everything. So unbuffed, let's go shoot at the gargoyle here just a bit. Just throw out some spells. And you can see that I do cast some slightly faster. And there we go. So that's like nearly half his HP before he can act. And let's just go ahead and let him hit us. Big old swing here. Boom. Oh, well, of course he missed. Just singe the nose hairs there. Again, it's... and you still have medium rolls. Still good stuff, right? So how much bull goat can you wear at 60? Okay, let's find out real quick. Okay, let's go put on bull goat. And there we go. So we're still at medium equip load. Medium. Still at medium. And with the boots, that puts us at heavy. So you can't wear the boots yet. So how much more do we need to make the boot? If you have full bull goats, okay. If you want, you can swap out the blue feathered branch sword for the poise one. But I'm going to tell you right now, even with 133 poise, big bosses like this gargoyle will still knock you on your butt. So it's kind of a waste. I would rather have the branch sword, to be honest. But with that said, how many more levels until we get to medium equip load? Well, let's find out right now, because I have a lot of runes to spend. And so we're just going to go 2 into endurance there. Let's go 5. Let's go 5 into endurance. And our equip load is still heavy. Okay, cool. And let's go another 5. There we go. And now we're at medium equip load with full bull goats with all of our defensives up. So there you go. That is 70 endurance, 99 vigor, of course. You got the 99 intelligence and faith. Again, you don't need arcane. You don't need any dexterity. You don't need strength at all because you're a mage. The only thing that strength will do at this point, and I'll just go ahead and show you, is it raises your base physical defense. So check out on the side here. Our physical is 152, and then you can continue to raise this up if you want. Again, this makes you more tanky, but it's such a negligible amount that it's not worth putting the points into at all, okay? So that puts us at 186 physical negation from 152. Again, absolutely not worth doing. Mind, your FP goes from 126 if you were to pump this all the way up, and that would put it at... well, 450, which is a sizable amount. You would be very comfy casting spells at this rate. Again, you don't need it though, and you don't need endurance, like, unless you just want to like have more stamina for whatever reason. There's just no point. Okay, and again, pumping dexterity won't do anything for you. It's just going to, it's not going to increase your cast speed because it's not at the break point. All right. Now arcane, again, this just increases your item discovery and your resistance to a few things. Like holy damage. This does not increase. This is not going to increase your damage. It's you can put it in if you want, like the item farm, I guess. But you're pretty much done at level 413. Okay. There's no real reason to level up beyond that. So with that said, that's the stats. With all of this stuff equipped, let's go fully buff up and just nuke this gargoyle down because why not? All right. So let's hit him with the rallying standard. There we go. Now we get the Howl of Shapiri. Wrong button. There we go. Get that Terra Magica out. Oh no, I hit him. Okay, we don't want to hit him. Why did my howl hit him? I guess I stood too close and yelled up his butthole, and he didn't like it very much, did he? All right, we're gonna do this again, and you know we still have some of our buffs. But this trivializes bosses. Remember, this gargoyle, he's resistant to magic. So we're doing less damage than what you'll be doing to most enemies in the game. Alright, get that howl out. Get the howl out. Get the Terra Magic out. Alright, get the shield going. Get the flask going. And let's light them up. I didn't mean to cast that again, and my howl's about to run out, but that's fine. He's pretty much dead. Look how chunky he just, look at that, that's like 15k damage. And again, we could keep going, you know. We casted, what, 5 spells for 15k damage, and yes, I know there are stronger spells out there. There are stronger things, but this homes in on them. It's lazy. I can lock onto a target and just hit the button and then win. I don't have to wait for the boss to set his butt down or to finish a combo or anything. It just makes the game easy. It's fun. It's a PvE build to just plow through New Game +9 if you want. Okay, guys? I'm Swole Benji. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. Before we go, I do want to show off how defensive we actually get with the full Bull Goat's armor on. And everything of the sort, right? Also, at this point, you don't really need the Blue Feathered Branch Sword. You're already tanky enough. You could put this on, deal even more damage, but again, we did 15k in a few casts. Alright, let's show these defenses before the video ends. There you go. Rallying, Standard, Hooyah! And then Edo Crab. Alright, and then with full Bull Goats, we are at 77.9% physical damage negation. That's without strength. Remember, we can still pump strength if you want, man. Hey guys, I make videos every day on this channel, so come back tomorrow for another video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button. You can always unsubscribe later whenever I play something you don't like. It's fine. Okay, I understand. I get it. Leave a like and leave a comment. Make sure you comment something about the video. Don't talk about other games. Talk about Elden Ring. And also reply to other people's comments. And if you're financially, independent, you make a lot of money at your big boy office job, please support me financially. I feel very stupid asking for this, but I do need it. This is all I do. I don't qualify for good jobs. Your help is greatly appreciated. It's $5 a month to become a channel member. It's like being a Twitch sub, right? But screw Twitch. YouTube's better. You get access to more private, more personal videos. You get access to videos early before other people, many, many weeks earlier. Okay, and it helps me out greatly, tremendously. If I ever become a huge YouTuber, super rich, super big boy, I'm definitely gonna play it forward and pay all you guys that supported me back. Okay, so come on back tomorrow for another video. Thank you for hanging out with me and watching my PvE Lazy Mage Guide. Take care, lads.